Holy fucking shit. Today on Me, Myself, and the Woman in Me, a Me, Myself, and miniseries book club, I'm joined by my sister, the talented, the dream within a dream, my Minnesota queen, Liam. Unfortunately, it seems like the evil, nasty spirits of Jamie Spears, Lou Taylor, and Justin Timberlake all came together in unison to cast a nasty plague of audio difficulties. Seems like they have a thing for silencing the voice of the gifted. So instead of scrapping the episode, I chose to follow Britney's moral of always delivering the best result you can despite your circumstances. Something Liam and I discuss in this chapter actually, so I mean it when I say the sleepless night I had putting this together is for y'all and for Britney. That's my mama. Anyways, we continue our journey reading through Britney Spears' memoir, The Woman in Me, with this week being chapters 5 through 10. Here we begin witnessing Britney and the Spears family's pursuit into the limelight, from Star Search and the Mickey Mouse Club to the debut single that changed her life, our lives, and the world forever. So remember when I say this book club is ours. Make sure your voice is heard wherever you watch or listen to this podcast. And now, book club's in session, bitch. Ready? Welcome back, everyone. Whenever I do that, I think about the intro to Born to Make You Happy. The one that's on the singles collection.
Yes. Exactly.
People get it.
With the extra vocals. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good cut. Yeah. Okay, go.
We will talk about it, okay?
We'll get to it.
Alrighty. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back, shall I say. Welcome back to Me, Myself, and the Woman in Me. The Me, Myself, and mini-series / book club. Highlighting, dissecting, discoursing, if that's even a word, we're gonna fucking make it
yes,
a word.
It is.
Because I'm a Sagittarius and I'm keen on freedom.
Yes!
I love freedom. I'm actually not a Sag. I'm a Sag Moon and Sag Rising. And you should know that if you watch the show. But any motherfucking way, we are talking about chapters 5 through 10 of the Britney Book Club. Hopefully you joined us last episode with my mother, John Ali. It was a gorgeous episode. And so going in through chapters 5 through 10, I was just like, I know exactly who the fuck I want to talk to for these chapters. And again, later on for the rest of the series. And it is my sister.
Yeah.
Truly, like, truly my sister. And our mother is this lady right here.
She brought us together.
She brought us together.
Let's get to it.
We have Liam, DJ Liam, however you want to be addressed as.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Just Liam, hi.
Thank you for coming.
How y'all doing?
My sister. It's funny because before, we've had a day so far, actually. Like,
yes.
this is not the first time we've chatted today. Matter of fact, these two chai teas and this little thing of Vaseline came from a little skip, stomp, and skirt around Broadway earlier today after there was some scheduling down and up and down and up and down.
Up and down and
up
the
and down.
Dropped and everyone felt sexy.
It most definitely did.
Right.
And yeah, there's some scheduling things that went on earlier today which forced us to push back our filming time later on, but you know, that just gave us an opportunity to stop by our mother's safe haven, which is Starbucks, non-sponsored. We picked up 2 gorgeous chai tea lattes, which was actually my first time ever trying them. I hate to admit it.
They're good, right?
Well, they're fucking fierce.
Yeah, I love them.
They're good. You might have started a new addiction.
Sometimes I do a little bit of, if you want to be fancy, you can do a little bit of whipped cream and some of the cinnamon powder on top. But I already had a hot chocolate with whipped cream this morning, so I was like, we don't need whipped cream this time.
See,
but it was really good.
I had iced coffee this morning, and iced coffee this afternoon, and now this. So like, I detailed to Liam before we started filming, the real ones will understand this reference. Me energetically right now, maybe y'all can tell, but I am chaotic me, brunette hair, everything, at TRL in Europe, about to step on the TRL stage. Via's recording her from across the other end of the stage. Britney's doing jumping jacks. She's hype, and Via's like, you can tell her Starbucks is about to kick it right now.
Right now.
That's me right now. So if I seem extra erratic or chaotic, I don't apologize. So, with that being said, thank you for coming. I'm so thankful.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, for real. I'm so thankful
Long time in the making.
I know.
To get me on this damn couch. much.
I know.
How
And
did you
trust, you'll be back soon.
Sure.
Obviously, for me, myself, and the original series. But for now, the book came out at the perfect time. I'm like, I think this is the best way for us to chat about her. Someone we love, someone we are so knowledgeable about. And I'm so thankful for you, and I'm thankful for this lady for bringing us together. It really just shows the power of music and the power of somebody like her. Like, it's not just like she makes some of our favorite songs that we listen to on our nights out. It's like those nights out can bring us closer to people that we've been needing to be around, and you're most definitely one of them. So I appreciate you, Miss Britney Jean Spears, and Liam, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be on the Me, Myself, and podcast, book club, everything you want, right? Extravaganza, darling.
Dupree.
Yes, absolutely. Right, Dupree.
So,
right.
So with that being said, I just thought of it right now as I was writing my little notes before we start on. I ask every single co-host that comes on this series, this mini-series, to bring a piece of Britney art that inspires them, that's touched them in a certain way. It doesn't have to be the one of their lifetime. It could be your Britney thing of this week that really just speaks to you. And I was like, why don't I call it the piece of you or your piece of me?
Yes.
So thank you, Robin,
what a
for that writing
right,
credit.
Right. You said I'll put her on the coat. Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'll credit Robin in the credits for this thing. But what's your piece of me, Britney memorabilia, art, song, album, etc. for this week?
Well, I'll give two. First is this wonderful T-shirt. This shirt, my dad got it for me when I was probably. He went on a trip to Philadelphia when I was like really little. I was probably like 3. And he came back and he got this shirt for me. He got my sister one it was for Christina's debut album, and so she had that one. And I had this one.
So cute.
Her and I would frequently like swap, of course, because we both, loved both. But I have had this ever since. You can see there's a couple times where I decided to do my nails, and you can see the nail polish is kind of like all over it, and it's very old and very worn, and I like never wear it, but I decided to bring it out because this one means a lot, and it sets the tone for kind of my like love and admiration for her for years upon years upon years. And it is of course a shot from the You Drive Me Crazy video, which was also like shifted my like brain chemistry for the better as a little tiny child, and so I brought this today because I felt it was very important to do that. But I will also say a non-physical item. I think that I gotta shout out the Pepsi commercials mean more to me than I can ever tell you. They were things, so when I was younger, my dad used to go on this thing. It was called Kazaa, and it was like a pre-LimeWire kind of situation. It was all about, you could share the files with people from all around the world through the internet. And we only had dial-up, but my grandparents had like high-speed internet. And so he would go on to Kazaa, and he would just go, okay, let's see, who put something up for that has something to do with her, and he would get all the things that they had, and that included the Pepsi commercials. First being the "My heart won't skip a beat," and I had like 3 different cuts of that were sitting on my computer, and then came the one where she goes through all of the many eras. When I tell you, to this day, that comes on and I will do the entire thing, head to toe, full choreography breakout, because that was something that really like solidified for me. Like, she is one, somebody not to be fucked with, and 2, like she she opened the door and said, you can perform, and like it got me to go, I kind of want to do something like that.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Pepsi commercials, like so much. And I will even say hers with
Beyonce and Pink.
The wonderful Beyonce and Pink. That one's great. Didn't have the cut of her one for soccer.
Yeah.
That one had not gotten on Kazaa, so I didn't have that, so I didn't experience that one until much later, and so that one's not quite as on my radar.
Yeah.
No pun intended. The Pepsi commercials are something that mean a lot to me, and if you ever come to a DJ set, chances are you might hear one of them often. I don't know how if like you saw those a lot as like a kid, or if they were something that you've kind of come across as as time has gone on. That's kind of how her whole career works.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll get to it.
First of all, thank you.
Yeah.
Beautifully intentional choices. Thank you. I love that. That's why like this lady is so fucking special to me and to everybody else. It's like it's not just like any other fave or like any other piece of like pop culture memorabilia where it's like, oh, we all grew up with her, blah blah blah. Like there's a story behind that. Like your father was involved in this shit. First of all, your father is realist. And like
I love my dad. Yeah, he's great.
Ask him what chapters he wants to come on this show and talk about, because he sounds like a little Britney Spears himself.
No, he loves Britney. He does.
Bless him.
He does. Yeah.
Two. She kind of resembles Miss Addison Rae right here. I'm not gonna lie. Like she got the wig on Miss Rae. Like that should have been her little, like Miss Rae's little Halloween costume.
Yeah.
You know she's a Britney Spears. She is
Yeah.
fairly like her in this picture. I'm just now like realizing. I'm not saying Addison Rae is Britney. Love her music, but she does resemble her here a bit.
Okay. So I thought that it was a real thing until very recently. Back when it was like a year ago, so somebody leaked, I got it back, somebody leaked that song, and I had heard online that they were going to originally have a sample from Baby One More Time as a part of the instrumental, and I thought that it leaked at some point, and so I have a file that is her singing through a cut of her having her track that is on top of a cut of the Baby One More Time instrumental, and I thought that it was real, but I was looking a couple weeks ago and it might have been fan made, but it's sickening. So I'm gonna have to send it to you because it is actually very good, and so it's funny that you bring her up because
girl, we're doing a secret little streaming after this episode. Hold on. Wow.
Yeah, you can find it online. I don't know. I got it once randomly, and I thought it was real, but it might not be. But it is real to me.
Exactly. So I'm gonna.
But anyway, yeah.
But
tangents already.
No, that's exactly what I wanted you to hear, girl. I'm like, we've been talking. We had a full outing, a full afternoon outing for 3 hours. We're like, no, it's still not done yet. But going back to the role that the Pepsi commercials play, never apologize, girl, for a tangent. Trust me, that's the rule of getting on the show. I swear. If you can't tangent, please kindly get the fuck out. But I was gonna make another Britney reference, but we'll say that later. But
never apologize for making a Britney reference either.
Thank you. I was gonna say, if you can't tangent along with me, get out of my face.
That's right.
But we're gonna touch on that area later when the time comes. But the Pepsi commercials, same thing with me. Like as a child, like those came on, and it's just like people don't understand the magnitude this lady had at the time. Yeah. So, time of filming today is it's November. It's November 2nd, 2023. If we put ourselves November 2nd, 2000 or 2001, 2 or 3 down the road, like we wouldn't be able to walk down Broadway or walk down our towns back home without seeing any type of mention of this lady.
Yeah.
You would go to McDonald's and she would be there.
She had her thing with, she had the VHS.
Thank you.
I have in my house, yeah.
Exactly, there's that.
A boyfriend who I don't want to talk about right now.
Thank you. You would see a Pepsi ad. You know what I mean? Like, she was everywhere, like, everywhere. I would go to Kmart. It wouldn't just, like, her face being everywhere wouldn't just end at the CDs being in the music section. You go to the clothes, there's the t-shirts, da-da-da-da. We saw it, replicated later on, that kind of takeover with Miley in the Hannah Montana days, but it's like, people don't understand how fucking all over the world this lady was, and just all, like, before Blackpink was in your area, Britney Spears was in your fucking area. So, with that being said, in tandem with the Pepsi commercial, when the Pepsi commercials came out, I was just like, no surprise that this lady is, all over, fucking all over. Like, it's the merch next, now it's the biggest, like, beverage company in the world, etc. So, those definitely played a huge part in my life, with that being said. Matter of fact, whenever I think about the Pepsi commercials, I always think about, this is a deep reference for those who get it. I'm so enthralled that I can vocally express it to people and they'll get it. Whether you're watching or whether you're there, people here like you sitting with me. Whenever I hear the Pepsi commercials, if I go back and listen and they come on shuffle, I always think about Radio Britney. Do you remember Radio Britney?
When she was doing, all the radio stations.
Oh, so Radio Britney was this app that came out around the, I want to say, like, late 2000s, early 2010s era of the iPod Touch and iPhone.
So I didn't have those technologies, and so that was not quite on my radar. Sorry to keep making that reference.
We love
it. Got it. But Radio Britney app.
It was this app, I think it was like a radio station based in like France or something. It was literally every single Britney song on shuffle. I don't know how they developed it, how this was legal. It got taken down, I think, after 3 years.
Yeah. But 3 years, dang, they really got it.
Oh, girl, they were around for a minute. I wouldn't listen to anything else but Radio Britney. It was like this like janky app.
I didn't get that.
And you'd go on and you'd hear, anything from Baby, Oops, to Sugarfall, or the Pepsi, or the 1 minute and 17 seconds we have of Rebellion. Like, thank you. Before there's the extended fan mixes.
Kind of.
So I always think about the
Britney.
Pepsi commercials when it comes to that. So I appreciate you bringing those beautifully intentional pieces of you, and they almost like make me cry because it's just like this lady is so fucking important, and I love hearing the story.
She's so good.
Behind that too. I'm gonna bring mine, which is kind of basic, but it's timely.
Yeah.
And it's forever and ever and ever like my pillar of life. Matter of fact, I just realized that as I was writing my notes, the color of my pen resembles the theme of my piece of me for this week. What album does this pen remind you of? I'm on some fuck shit and I'm holding a pen to somebody, and I'm like, what does this remind you of?
I mean, it's gotta be 3 words. Nope. We are in the zone.
Yep.
20th anniversary. Of course, I know that you talked about it last week, but we can touch on it, of course. Very important. Come to $3 Bill next week.
Period.
John Lee's playing.
You want to see us fucking twirl?
Yeah.
Britney playing out the $3 bill speakers. Let me take my earplugs out.
The moment the answer comes on, I'm off. I'm going.
I've been waiting for you so patiently, but now you're here. And so, my piece of me for this week is In the Zone. Its 20th anniversary is sometime on this week. I think it's either the 10th itself or the 3rd. Her anniversary dates are so whatever. I just celebrate the whole week because I celebrate them all year, technically. But I was listening to In the Zone, as I always do, but I was really taking a moment to, like, sit and just listen to it top to bottom. And I'm just like, holy fuck. Like,
masterpiece.
This is the album of my life. Like, yes, there's Blackout. Yes, there's Blackout. And I talk about In the Zone a lot on this podcast, but I'm like, the way Velvet Rope is for Janet is the way In the Zone is for Britney.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
I don't see Blackout as her Velvet Rope.
No.
In the Zone is her Velvet Rope. Because self-titled Janet was Britney's self-titled Britney.
Yeah.
She's a fucking genius. And she looks up to Mother. I know, I just put that together in this moment.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I was like,
third album. Yeah.
In the Zone is quintessentially like the most perfect, like, Good Girl Gone Bad album ever, especially of the modern day.
So good.
It's like, that's what you call and I always remember Michael DeQueen, shout out to you, sister.
Yeah.
Always calling it the first word she uses to describe it, always. She says it was such a departure. That's what it is. And it's just like, I listen to it and I'm like, holy fuck, like I could almost tear up thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this bitch was in her early 20s making like this cunty of music.
Yeah.
Like, the girls aren't making Breathe on Me, Touching My Hand, Showdown, The Answer, Don't Hang Up. Like, y'all aren't doing it. And it's like, it's not just like, oh, it's just like, it's materialistic, it's manufactured, it's just pop, which we're gonna go over in this chapter, because this is where those claims start to come around in this chapter, because we are talking about the woman in me today. Don't forget.
Of course, we'll get there. We promise.
We'll get there. But this is Britney discourse time.
Of course.
And but it's like, no, like, it's the geniusness behind the producing, behind the curating. Like, she's just such a fucking master of it. Where it's like, still to this day, like, that album could come out tonight and it would shatter every single chart and whatever. Like, it's just like the most godsend pop album period of all time. My piece of me is In the Zone.
You better speak on it. Love that. Very good.
It's like
ode to In the Zone. Yeah.
No, completely, because it's like everything I like am honestly is because of the album. Even like when it comes to my dancing and the way, especially the way I express myself sexually, not even intimately, like in bed, but like when I'm dancing or when I feel myself, I feel not just in the zone, but I feel like that era of Britney, in the zone.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Not to reference or not reference.
Exactly.
But
I love that.
I can keep on going on and on and on and on and on and on with that album.
The beat goes on and on and on. Yeah, right.
Bump up to the break of dawn and get on to the early morning. There's two references.
There's double. You took that one and I took that one, and that's why we're here together, because we make one. We make one.
To become one.
Exactly.
Not a Britney reference, but a Spice Girls reference. Yeah.
Once they have a book, let's talk about that book later. I would love that book. Okay. Anyway, let's go.
So, with this being said, briefly, what did you think about the introduction chapters 1 through 5?
My biggest takeaway, and I have been talking to my wonderful partner and his best friend about it, is just like, there's a lot of like lingering, generational family trauma that just like continues, and it's a great example of just like how true that can ring, and that like, there are, her dad went through some shit. His parents had to go through some shit, like, and so I feel like for the beginning chapters, helping to kind of contextualize what is to come, it was very eye-opening for me to get a glimpse of that. It does not excuse the behavior, but it helps to contextualize the world in which she's kind of coming into. She's having to navigate through, even as, just a little kid, which is like so heartbreaking to me. Like, so heartbreaking, and it's so hard to, even have to wrap your head around. And, she kind of, we'll get into it more. But that was my biggest takeaway, is just like contextualizing how much, years and centuries of traumas that have come before her have, continued through. That was my biggest takeaway. I don't know if you have some things you want to say.
No, in the same way. I think, like, as, like, Britney fans, like, we knew so much already kind of going in.
Right.
So, while to some, it was kind of, like, just, like, a wiki read, honestly, of, like, Born in Kentwood, Louisiana, blah, 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 like, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think when you take a minute and you sit down and listen to it, it does a great job of setting the stage.
Yes.
As not necessarily like what's to come. It doesn't foreshadow, but you said it perfectly. Contextualizes things, because we're not excusing anyone, especially him or that.
Fuck everybody.
Literally that fuck ass family. Death to all of you.
Death.
But death to all of you.
Yeah.
But it does put context behind it. Hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
We see what
has transpired, and it's like, okay, it isn't right, but I see that there is some context behind it tragically. So I definitely agree with that about chapters 1 through 5. But now we are on 5 through 10, baby. So 5, we pretty much like start chapter 5 off with she's getting into Star Search.
Yes, she is getting herself out there.
Yeah, she's becoming.
Her parents are getting her out there. You know.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other thing,
The interest is there for her. But the parents are seeing the potential lucrativeness of their daughter.
The lucrative opportunity.
Absolutely.
Showing itself out.
Yeah, she begins with Star Search.
Yep. Yeah, she does.
Which a lot of the girls started off on, which was really fierce. We don't have her anymore.
Yep.
Now we have TikTok. So, I guess. But
she was there. Yeah.
She was.
Yeah.
One thing that like I just took notes on, because we know the same things, like she didn't win, blah blah blah.
Yep.
The thing that stood out to me about this kind of like the Star Search era is the fact that she details the moment, she's on stage, she looks cute and everything, she's asked about a boyfriend.
Yes, right, and that sets it sets the precedent for what's to come. Yes.
Yep, exactly. I'm trying to remember who it was that she was competing with, but he was a lovely gentleman that she played basketball with.
Should we name him?
Lovely, hopefully lovely man still to this day.
Yeah.
But, she detailed he was a really sweet kid.
Marty got a perfect 4.
Marty got a perfect 4.
And I smiled and hugged him politely. And as I walked off, Ed wished me luck. And I kept it together until I made it backstage. But then I burst into tears. Afterward, my mom got me a hot fudge sundae. Right. But yes, that whole section about him or the host. He was like,
you have such a beautiful smile. I just noticed it last week.
Yeah.
Do you have a boyfriend?
She was quick though. She said, they're mean. And I said, exactly. You're right, Brittany. Say it.
That's our mom.
You know.
Mama's always got a tongue on her, even when she was at mama ages. She was daughter, yet she was still mother.
Yeah. Right.
What do you think about this era, this chapter so far?
I think your kind of note on the question about her having to be asked about, having to be asked about a boyfriend, how that kind of that is a tone set for her going forward, and the constant the constant questioning, the constant kind of trying to over sexualize her as she is a super she was just a kid, and the things that a lot of people felt they had the right to try to poke her about.
Like they felt
they begins here, right, and it just it shows how far also I think a lot of how we do pop culture and things has come, but that it's not gone, and that she is an example of somebody who had to go through that dumb shit of having the whole thing. But that was my kind of takeaway from it, was that it continues to contextualize for us what is coming.
Yeah, completely. And something that strikes me too is like, it's funny because she's how old here? Maybe like 7, 8, like young as fuck.
Just a kid.
And I'm like, I know, especially around this time, but still currently, and unfortunately, it's like society has this over-fixation with women's personal lives, especially when it's none of everybody else's business. But for some reason, it's like, granted, everybody's probably gotten like their shit end of the stick as well. Like Christina's probably gotten hers, everybody else. But I'm like, it's funny because she kind of highlights it later on in the Diane Sawyer interview of 2003, where it's like, what's the fascination with her? And I don't want to glamorize it by being like, oh, she's just so captivating where people really have to get in her business. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, for example, in the Diane interview, she's like, I mean, I don't want to bring it up, but Kate Hudson just did a photo shoot and she was quite naked. Jennifer Lopez as well. She poses very, very provocatively. But what's the problem when I do it, man? Come on, like.
Yeah.
It's not that example specifically, but it's the sentiment that it makes, where it's like, what is it with, since her being on Star Search, it's like everybody has been in this lady's business,
in her business.
You know what I mean? Like it's so shitty and annoying to the point where I'm almost kind of intrigued by like, damn, like what is the appeal, like that this little girl had on a fucking grown ass host of Star Search? Like what?
Weird.
What is the interest that compels somebody to ask these type of personal questions to somebody? A girl, a little girl at that. Does that make sense?
No,
there's kind of like it's like as
there's a lot in there. I think men are trash, and they have no respect for people, especially women who are it's just like so shitty, and like fuck men, I don't like them at all. That's all I really have to say. That is all I really have to say about the matter. But I will say though, she's in all of that though, but she does begin to say how much she is, how much she's having an understanding of just how powerful her performance can be. Not even to who is here to watch, but in herself, she is beginning to understand the gift in which she has and how powerful it is. And I think as she begins to kind of go on this journey, how much of a responsibility she feels that she kind of has alongside it, which is good, but it's also then tricky. And we get into her family, and
that was so really beautifully said. First of all, I've always felt that way about her, and like she's so aware of her gift, but I've never been absolutely how to verbalize it. And the way you just put it, like just put like years and years and years of work that I've been putting on myself mentally. But it's true, you know what I mean? And it speaks to how powerful her gift is, where it's like she had to get aware of it, she had to introduce herself to it, and it sounds like head ass and woo woo, but it's like, no, it's like this bitch became who she was because she was born with a fucking special gift. Yes, she rehearses and works her ass off, but it's like some people are born with it, some people are not. She was one of those people that were born with it, and that's what we see within these chapters and these variations of her exploration within the industry at an early age, from Star Search to Broadway. Like, she's dipping her toes everywhere, even fucking basketball. She makes a bunch of comparisons to her on stage being a basketball player, which I'll bring up the quote later on at that chapter, because I think it beautifully explains the way she performs and the beat she is on stage. But it goes to show that it's like, this is her getting in touch with her art at an early age and her thing. So with that beautiful sentiment you make, we now move on to the New York and E debut. Which is, she's got signed to the talent manager before, but now she's officially starring as an
understudy. She's in New York. She's hanging with a young Natalie Portman by her side. Which I forgot about it. I was like, oh yeah, like that was like a a connection.
Yeah, they were sisters back in the day.
I'm like it's just so wild.
Random.
Right. Like it's just one of those things that you think about it now, and it's like, I don't know the odds that was happening. It was great. But yeah, she tried. She tried to get on Mickey Mouse Club. She had to get a couple more years. Didn't know her and Christina both had to wait. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, interesting. Sisters, even
No, literally.
Complications aside, but also a thing of like, how did that how did that happen in the world? Like all that.
Stars aligned.
Right. Yeah. Like it's just one of those things. But yeah, and then she heads over to New York, and she's working really hard, and she also begins to get her taste of like, this is like not very sustainable, and and she mentions it in here, and I think it's, and it's a bit of her, her kind of, her taking time to look back on it. But even as a kid, she was like, I can't do this for this long. It's so grueling.
Yeah.
You can't do, 6 or 7 shows a week and being
a literal child.
Exactly. Her ability to comprehend that, or you could argue her having to figure out how to comprehend that just as a kid, really is a nod to her strength and her perseverance as a human being from a literal child. She should not have had to have figured out how to do that. But it is a testament to how she then continued to function and how she continued to approach the work in which she wanted to do going forward.
Yeah, completely. Going with that too, what immediately started to stick out to me is I'm like, okay, here's the beginning of her being, I'm not going to say the captain of her own ship, but her family ship.
Yes, right.
Lynn and Jamie Lynn, Demon Girl, move up to New York with her. This is all for, the lucrative promise that's their daughter. Not saying Britney didn't have any interest in it. Obviously, she's living out her dreams right now. But this is the beginning of, okay, she's the moneymaker in the house. Or she's well on her way to, even in their times of struggling. So, that was kind of fascinating. Just a random side note, but I love when, I don't know, it's kind of like a lost art now, but I love when the pop girlies have a Broadway background because those make fierce pop girls. Even Ariana.
It teaches you a lot. It does.
So,
absolutely.
I'm I remember being young Britney Stan, finding out that she did Broadway later on. I was like, okay, it doesn't surprise me. But so that chapter's kind of short. Nothing really much happens. She ends up wrapping up her time in New York anyways because she had to miss Christmas because at that point of the show she was no longer an understudy. She was actually playing the main character
because she's that girl.
Exactly.
But
exactly. I will say to be one of those people that saw Britney in Broadway,
could you imagine?
I want to know where those people are and I want to ask them, be when she came on stage, did you see something when she stepped on stage? You were like, oh, she's gonna be something. It's kind of those moments. But that chapter kind of wraps up with them wrapping her time up at Broadway because she didn't want to miss Christmas, which goes to your point that you make that she was so here about still being a human, finding that kind of normalcy back in her life, but the normalcy doesn't really continue because we now move on to the Mickey Mouse Club. Officially.
Well, and I'll also say too, I feel like it's also, it's a sense of a normalcy that she actually hasn't ever had, and that she's trying to look for so desperately. And so that I think is I think that that kind of longing, I think, is a big drive for her at that point. She wants to be able to just, have a home and have a space that is, safe and comfortable, and she can just be herself and break love her. Let it go. Anyway,
no, a million percent. It's a very, very important part of her. Her literal moral as a person, and we see it often in her career. It's always been this fight for normalcy, and I think about it now as a working and fully functioning adult. I'm she's fucking legit. In what she's asking for, she's not saying I don't ever want to do music or practice my art again, but how can I practice something that makes me happy without letting it take over my life? And how do I make space and allow space for things that add and complement to my life that don't have to do with my art, that has now become lucrative and now has become work and it's now become a source of income, not just for me but for other people, including my demonic family. So it's what she's asking for really isn't that crazy the more you grow, and it's really sad to see how often that chase of normal life stays with her. I often always go back to the moment in Chaotic where, you know, she might, the second Chaotic reference of the day, she was probably, you know, smoked a bit, you know, and it's the part where she's sitting eating green beans, high as hell with Kevin, she's sitting cross-legged, she's like, they're talking about a movie, and he's like, it's already been out, babe, it's probably on DVD or VHS. She's like, huh?
Yeah.
Where have I been?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing out on life. And he's just like, what do you mean? She's like, life, like things and things. It's still thinking about it. Like it's that sentiment. And it's like I get it. Like
it stays with her.
She was moving so fucking fast, nonstop from the beginning. So just to, you know, add that to your sentiment that you make of this chase for normalcy. So
Absolutely.
So Mickey Mouse Club.
Yes, and then she gets on it. And then she keeps working. Well, baby!
I'll be here for a minute, girl. Yeah. So
Mickey Mouse Club. Yes. Great.
Obviously, like Mickey Mouse Club Fierce or whatever. Yeah. We could talk about.
She was excited, you know. Yeah. Like
you see the old performance videos, and it's like, this bitch was going off. I will say too, I've been diving into some of Christina's performances from Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
She was eating.
She has it. Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
Like.
She became a pop star for a reason. For sure.
Like, I know this is a Britney.
She's a shitty girl sometimes. Love her, though. Like, I love her.
Just my seat?
Right. Okay, Christina.
Just my seat? Okay, Christina.
Ah!
Yeah.
Wendy.
But.
So bad.
But yeah, talented girl.
Yeah. Like, you can't deny.
You know?
There is a reason they were both on that show. Yeah. Like, there is a reason that was a part of their journey, for sure. For sure.
And so it was also part of another person's journey, which, trigger warning for the name we're about to say, I'm not saying it because we celebrate him, I'm saying it because he's, unfortunately, for context. Actually, a little context if you care to listen.
Listen in.
That's a Ray reference for those divas.
Come closer.
Yeah, trigger warning. We're about to mention Justin Timberlake, and this is the intro to him. So, I know, boo, the building is rattling in boo and negative
shaking in his
cheers.
boots right now. Good.
Shit-stained boots, yeah, exactly. Faux shits. Anyway,
this is so bad. Anyway, yes.
They meet.
Yep.
She instantly is like head over heels for him.
Yeah.
She's always been a girly. That's love. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say it's boy crazy, but you know, boys have kind of tied into the normalcy for her in a way.
It's a part of her longing, for sure.
You know, it reminds me
of
"Simple Kind of Life" by No Doubt, one of my favorite songs ever made.
Yeah, we gotta have a
day.
We gotta have a day. We gotta have a day. Return to Saturday anyway. Anyway, we'll get to that.
And so they connect, they click.
Similar themes.
Yes, exactly.
Sure.
So they connect, they click. You know, Mickey Mouse Club is literally just like summer camp for them. Essentially, they get to know each other really well. I remember Lynn and even Justin's mom, that's mentioned in the book. They described Britney and Justin whenever they were around being like magnets.
Yeah. Correct.
Joins at the hip, essentially, and whenever they would find each other in the room, they would just stay there.
Yeah.
So they meet, and that happens.
Young love. It's a thing, for sure.
Girl.
But then him and her don't like hang out for a long time.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost like a summer fling.
Right. Yes. Yeah. But then they do come back together. But then she does the Mickey Mouse Club. And everybody else is, you know, heading up on their, heading up on their trajectories towards their, you know, fame.
Yeah.
And she's like, going back home. I'm gonna go work in the, or I might have it wrong. Which the first time she did Mickey, she went back and worked at the seafood shop.
Yeah.
The second time she went and she was just a girl hanging out
Because now she's like high school era.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Sorry,
very
I got it mixed
early.
up first.
No, I'm too. I was waiting for you to check me out. I was like, was it the seafood first time or second time?
No, I don't check it.
But yeah, now this time it's
Yes.
like this is pretty much like the like her kind of like last supper of normal life.
Interesting. Yeah.
Before everything takes off, you know. So yeah, thank you for pivoting into that era, by the way.
Excellent.
My sister. So
She's coming home.
you know, nothing much really happens. It's just her being like a normal teenage girl. She crushes on her brother's best friend.
Yeah.
Which I will say, this kind of adds to the also like other arc of her looking up to her brother being somebody like she respects, she loves, she appreciates,
So
she aspires to be, but also somebody she aspires to take care of.
Yep.
And I hope I'm not diving too deep into it, but it's like but it's, you know, as kind of most of us do, especially when you grow up with like very like prominent male figures in your life. I'm not gonna say whether they're good or bad, just prominent. That's a neutral term. But you know, she's just like, you know, she likes a prominent male figure in your life, in her life.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And her brother's one of them.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And so, yeah, she dates her brother's best friend. She loses her virginity to him, which for me, as a fan, you know, and I have noted in the show, I, you know, want to go over things that like that were new to us. That was one thing that was new to me. I believed the whole, you know, virginity claim of the Oops era,
right? Yes,
and the whole dating Justin thing.
Well,
I thought that was true.
Well, you know, when I would, you know, when I would also say that was a part of her kind of, you know, her kind of having to quickly understand that has to be navigated because it's gonna be that you know, so many people are going to ask her about it. She knows it's gonna come up so much that you know, that you have to be strategic, because if she were to be like, you know, if she, you know,
she would have already been like, I had sex already.
Right. Like that would have caused a whole other kind of a stir, and so she had to be very smart, and you know, anyway, no child should ever have to deal with this, but it's fine anyway.
No, I know.
That's how I feel.
It's crazy because it's like now, like, you know, unfortunately, like there's still traces of this toxic obsessiveness with women's bodies, clearly. But it's like, even, you know, you think back to like the purity ring era, like this type of shit, like this level of type of shit doesn't exist anymore. So imagine an extra 10 years on top of it. This doesn't thankfully exist as much anymore. Like, I don't think we're asking Addison Rae about like, is she a virgin or not and everything. Hopefully people aren't, and thank God. Yeah, like, who cares? You know what I mean? So, that was something that I found new to me. Did it also, like, you're like, oh shit, I thought she was a virgin, or not that it matters.
That was not something that I was thinking ever too much about.
Yeah.
But it, you know, you know, she was a kid just trying to figure out the world.
Yeah.
And you know, that's how you do it. You know, as you said, it was kind of her last supper moments. She was kind of doing that because at the end of the chapter, she finally gets to chit-chatting with Larry Rudolph.
Trigger warning.
But that sets the tone for a whole other thing.
No, you just leave right there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Period.
Right. That sets a tone for, you know, her going into the next phase of the career.
Yep.
Which is really where shit really begins.
And which is why you and I didn't even like plan it, but we're wearing both Baby One More Time earrings.
Right! Yes! Cool. Yeah, I know. I suspect
memorabilia.
I was like, oh yes, we are on the same page. But also, you know, you and I are both you know, choosing to represent a different aspects of it. which is great too, because we bring the different level. We bring the range. We bring the range. You bring the album, and I bring a single, and we.
That's fierce.
Is it right? You know.
I will say, we were just talking about this before filming. I'm very overly intentional about everything. This one, I was slightly intentional. It's literally just what I had in my laundry today,
and look, it works.
You know, it did work. But with that being said, you know, she signed, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, she sings Whitney for Larry and a bunch of people in the office. She signed, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Very pivotal moment in her career that lasts career time, essentially. This is like its canon event. She is introduced to Max Martin.
Yeah. I'm so happy that she speaks highly of that whole experience, because that is just a great thing to hear. I think especially like you know, having context for her relationship to a lot of people who had a lot of men heading up into this point and afterward. I am happy to hear that she was like excited to work with him, and that it felt like a good, safe place for her to be able to be a young creative. So I love that was noted in the book. Anyway, but they meet, and that literally changes the foundations of everybody that comes after.
I think, like, he's had, you know, a repertoire of artists that he's worked with before her, but I'll always say, like, at the end of the day, like, Max Martin's musical matchmate is Britney. Always and forever. That's where his sound polished. That's where she found her sound. Like, it was just, like, I get chills about it. Like, it's just, like divine timing.
Absolutely.
Perfect. I'm so thankful it happened this way.
Me too.
You know, and like what you said, I'm really happy she talks about it like a really positive light. They go like to a nice like friendly dinner together, and then immediately she's being sent off to fucking Sweden to record the album, which like no wonder the album is great, and no wonder it's anointed and blessed, because it's been blessed with the holy Swedish waters, because the greatest fucking pop music is made there. And I love hearing about her. This is some of, you know, like studio need we hear about in the book. She talks about being in the booth so much, whether it was in New Jersey or Sweden. She can't tell the difference between two, honestly, because she was just in a dark booth the whole time. She made a really big deal about it in the book, which like the first time reading it, because this is my third time reading this book now, because this, you know, series, love it. It just kind of hit me now. I'm like, oh, she made such a huge deal about like the hitting her head on the glass thing and being embarrassed. And I'm like, oh, it's because she was so in the studio so much. Like, she was so in the zone. Like, she, you know, was trying to leave to go get some fucking coffee and banged her head on the window. And I was like, why is this in this book? You know what I mean? Like, we could have took this out if we wanted to, but I'm like, okay, she's using it to highlight how deep into the process she was.
She's telling a story. She's got a book to... She has a book arc that she needs to hit her points on. Thank you. Right, exactly.
And she was
what she's doing. She
knows
her people. Know what she's doing. Yeah, but she's making the hits, and she, you know, and she is so committed to her craft in that way, and it's just like such a thing to be like so just like. She's just amazing. You know how much she cares about. You know how much she cares about the art she makes.
And even it's like it's fascinating to see what and where she has control in this situation, because mind you, this is the 90s. I mean, it's prevalent nowadays, but like this is really at the time where artists were record labels, products. You were just there as a medium to sell something.
You were just
hit this mark, hit that. Thank you, be our face. You could be replaced and interchanged at any given moment in time. But
she carved it out herself.
Exactly, and it's in moments you see moving on to creating "Baby" the song in the video. She found a way to make everything hers, and this is I think what is the thing about Britney that the other pop girls, especially the ones that want to be her, don't have, is that she finds any situation that she can make and turns it into hers, and not a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
The only one who I can think of, a modern day example, is Rihanna. Rihanna can take any Sia reject and make it hers, and suddenly it is not Sia's song anymore. And it's a Rihanna song, whether she wrote it or Azealia Banks wrote it from the basement. A real reference for those that get it, with fucking Budweiser and fucking peanuts, you know, and pretzels. And that's the thing that those two ladies have that I find is very commendable about them. It was funny. She notes, which was just funny to me. She notes the night before she recorded Baby, she purposely stayed up all night, so her voice is tired and raspy.
Yeah.
And because she was listening to Tainted Love, and
Tainted Love, Soft Cell, amazing song, by the way.
Her taste is incredible.
Such a great thing in which she chose to.
Which we should also get a cover, I will say.
Okay, no.
The way she did like a Tom's Diner cover, I would.
There are so many covers which she needs to do. Not to have a side note.
Side note, and go ahead.
So me and my boyfriend have talked about this a lot. But that if she was to ever do a tour again, and she was, and she was looking to kind of have like a, here's like her like, if she was looking to have a theme around like, her, her coming back into her power. If she covered Control by Janet Jackson, oh my god, him and I talk about that all the time. Of course, as we know, she covered Nasty way back in the day, which is great. But just imagine Lights Go Down. When I was 17, I did what people told me. With her voice, I just, that's a cover that I would love to hear so badly. You want to hear Tainted Love, which I think is also sickening. She could do everything.
Could you imagine Control into My Prerogative?
Like, it's all right there. Into Overprotected. Him and I, for one of our first, date hangouts, him and I each made a set list, and we shared it, and we talked amongst each other. A lot of similarities, which I thought was very interesting.
That's so cute.
But yeah, so if she ever hears this, if you ever want to consider doing a cover of Control, I think that would shut the fucking world down. Anyway.
And it's funny, because two things. She loves that album.
She loves Janet.
And there's that one edit where it was during Project Rose era, where I think she was in a very Control reminiscent blazer.
Yes.
And somebody made that era. That was really fierce.
Yes.
And she also mentions, this is later on when we're talking about Mickey Mouse Club and everything. She talks about her first kiss
to the Janet song.
Do you think you know which one it is? Because I think I know.
Okay.
Not if we were there. Yeah.
I mean, you could think of a couple. Which one are you thinking of? Because I'm curious.
Let's wait a while.
Okay, interesting. I was gonna say Love Will Never Do Without You, which I think could also be a nice but also the way in which that whole situation, her and Justin, Janet in the background, so many layers in that. There is so many different through lines, so many things that so many things that then happen, Super Bowl, it is a supercharged moment, and I'm happy that she chose to detail that in there, because I think she's thinking about the ways in which all of these are connected,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Anyway.
So
What comes next? We'll
do another episode where it's just Britney covers Britney,
We can do so many episodes. So wait, thanks.
No, I know. Girl, you're welcome. Anytime.
I know.
But so yeah, so she records Baby with her tired voice.
Yes.
And we all know the story, but maybe some don't. But it's the day she was offered an original concept to the Baby One More Time video where she was gonna be
it sounded whack.
It sounded so fucking
sounded whack.
stupid.
I was like, are you kidding me?
It was like
I
some
like
like
that.
Superman, Power Rangers bullshit.
Like-
And she was like, y'all know we should just be in like school uniforms, breaking out at the end of the day.
It's
in
right
our
there.
gym clothes.
Like it's right in the song. Like it's
And
in
I'm
the, you
so
know,
happy
yeah.
too. She
Me
details
too.
that moment
Yeah,
to
me
know
me
that
too.
like.
She made that choice. Yeah.
And granted, the song is legendary and amazing,
Yeah.
but let's not act like the song wouldn't be what it is without. Give me a moment.
I'm sorry. Yes. Go ahead.
Can you take like a comment for me real quick?
Yeah. No. Stop. This should have been my moment.
Bell ring.
Yeah. Da-da-da. Just get up and walk. Yep. Get up and walk down the hall. No. When I tell you,
Thank you for that.
there are home videos of me, probably 1.5 or 2 years old, and I've got a table.
Yep.
And I have a piece of paper, and I have a pencil, and I watch that video over and over. It taught me how to use a VCR, because I would watch it, and I would want to see it again.
And
So I would
replay.
go up and I would hit stop, and I would go back to the beginning, and I would try to recreate every moment of that video to no end. You can ask any of my siblings, you can ask any of my parents. They were like, we're tired of this because you keep doing it over and over again. I was so obsessed with, her.
Mm-hmm.
It was like so in awe of what she was doing, and I wanted to do it too. That video, like changed brain chemistry.
Yeah.
For so many,
Yeah.
myself included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
She's the best.
it's such
I
a
love
moment,
I love
and it's
Britney.
like I watch the video and I like
Yeah.
I can't ever watch it just like normally, just be like, okay,
Yeah.
that happened. I do
Yeah.
a recounting of my
Yes.
life without that. Another moment too, that's like a pivot, but it's still relevant. Is something that's just as iconic as the original video for Baby One More Time is the rehearsal footage,
Oh, yeah.
which she kind of
Yes.
details about
Yes.
at Broadway Dance Center.
Correct, and I did also want to note that she says she likes a New York dancer better than an LA dancer. And
She's
when
so
I tell
real.
you know what, as a dancer myself, who knows a sense of how that works, she knows what's up.
She knows what
Because-
she's fucking talking about.
Because New York dancers have the heart.
That's what she says.
Have the heart. And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying if you are an LA dancer, you don't have heart, but I'm saying something about the New York dancer, she knows what's up. She knows what's up.
Charisma.
I love her. I love Britney. I love
her
Britney.
taste is incredible.
She is one for the people. She is everything.
And so
I love her.
you better
I
engineer
love
my
her.
set.
Sorry, I got a little bit more hype now.
No, I love it.
Hope
You
that's
better
fine.
engineer the
Hope
fuck
it
out of
doesn't-
this set, my sister.
Hope it doesn't
From
fuck the-
no, absolutely not.
the
From
sound of it.
reversing
If it does, we can fix it.
the Baby One More
I
Time
know
video
it.
as a child to
Yeah.
engineering,
Oh, babe.
an expert. But
Right.
it's so basically, Baby One More Time comes out.
Yep. Yeah.
Changes the world up. Changes the world up.
Changes
Is
the world.
Diamond.
10 million, baby.
You had to go out
10
in stores to get the CD.
And 10 million people did that. 10 million people did that. Myself included. You know what? I do remember going to Target and getting that CD. Back when I was, 2 years old. I do remember going up to the thing that had them, and I took it. Maybe that's like that might be like, that might be a little bit of like a foggy memory, but I swear on my life that I recall it. I swear on my life. But yeah.
No, that's important. The first
Yeah.
moment, it's like your Britney CD
Yeah.
virginity moment is
Yeah.
a very important thing.
Yeah. The
I
first
always
album,
had-
for sure.
Yeah.
First album.
Baby One More Time was something I think I just had, like my babysitter had it.
Yep, I understand.
But Oops was the one I went in stores that day on May 3rd, I believe, 2000 to get it because my birthday was the week prior, my third birthday, to get it, and that was
That artwork.
life-changing.
Yeah.
Life-changing, truly. And yeah, I'm so thankful for that. But yeah, Baby One More Time pretty much changes the face of the
Yeah.
world. You know, and in that moment there were 27,000 different iterations of Britney born in that moment. You know, later on Christina came out. Later on Jessica, Mandy Moore. Shout out to Candy. Everything.
I know. Shout out to Candy. No. Shout out to Walk Me Home. I'm sorry.
Walk Me Home.
Next. Okay,
Absolute taste. Walk Me Home. Pivot back to Britney.
Yeah.
Walk On By, baby.
Shit.
Well,
yeah.
The other day, and I was like, fuck, what a gorgeous song.
Every time you go. Come on, sing it.
So good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Great.
Now Britney's like doing mall tours and everything. It's funny because imagine just like
nobody does that anymore too.
Girl, no.
Like
Have you ever seen somebody at a mall?
like
a performer at a mall.
Okay, no, but they came to the Mall of America all the time, of course, because I'm from Minneapolis, and so that was a big spot where she came on that tour to the Mall of America. But she talks about it in the book too. Her having to show face and go, y'all need to care about this thing that you have no idea what the hell it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of work, and that's a lot of having to do something for people that don't care. That's a lot. You gotta have a good head on your shoulders in order to get through that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so shout out to her, because it did pay off. But I can imagine that was a grueling thing to have to sit through. You got people just heading to the mall shopping. They don't care about someone who's just doing her of course is up, of course, obviously 180 degrees. But you gotta get the people that care about that, and I'm happy she did that, and then she didn't have to do it again. I'm glad it paid off.
Yeah. I like though that she mentions while it was grueling, she kind of liked the fact that she was performing anonymously.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Because it was just her and her art that mattered in that moment, she's just up there doing what she loves, eating of course, and there wasn't any personal attachment affiliated whatsoever. Whereas, and once again, just like how the time she spent back home before going off was her kiss goodbye, her last supper to normalcy. This as well was her last bit of seeing her being kind of the closest she's been to being a struggling and upcoming pop star.
Right. Yeah.
Because after this and after the video comes out, it was a wrap. People don't realize that. Obviously it wasn't overnight because it was years in the making, but at the same time, to the public, it was overnight.
Yeah.
So much so where going on to towards the end of '99, Oops is kind of around the corner.
Yeah.
She was already a household name, and which solidified the household name, but did come with the household controversy. Is none other than the Rolling Stone cover.
La Chapelle.
Yep.
Signature. Yeah. Hey.
We ate that. We see each other.
Duos. Here we are. Paying attention.
Yeah, I didn't mean to
working
off
off
your
each
face,
other.
but we fucking
You're fine.
ate that shit.
La Chapelle, baby.
Which
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
I love that shoe.
Yeah.
She and it's not I hope I don't sound derogatory when I say it.
Yeah.
I think it's sick. It's so cute.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. I see where some bits of it could definitely be sexualized, especially because obviously it's a bunch of older men that are watching this, and probably a lot of older men that are there on set. And it's funny because there's that toss up of who was whose idea was this?
Yeah.
Was it Britney? Was it David? Because Britney said it was David's concept, but then David was like, it was you, sis.
Yeah. Well, she owned it, and I think that's where
good point.
The power of that shoe really comes into play, because she was here is what the fuck it is, and it caused a big stir. But I think you know, and I like to believe that she, you know, she was clever.
Like in handling it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She knew what she was doing, you know, in a sense. I give her that, that power.
I think that's a really good point. She, you know, before, you know, the prophetess Mariah Carey once said, I'm just doing the best I can with what I got. Britney is the queen of doing the best she can with what she has, especially when it's, you know, a lot of the things that she's been given and the opportunities have been through the eyes of men. Right. She will milk the best out of it, and we see that later on. You know, even, you know, blackout, circus era, even shitty circumstances, curated by men, she's gonna make the fucking best out of it. So that's a testament to her power. Like you said, do you have a favorite picture from that shoot?
I would have to look.
Got you.
I'd have to look. Which I might look right now.
Got you. So while you're looking, that happens, and pretty much, it's like not like the hate. You know, it's a controversy. It's a thing, but it's nothing detrimental yet. So as you know,
we're to that point.
That era continues. She goes on tour with NSYNC, which means her and Justin are rekindled once again, and they spent all their time together. That's where the magnet quote comes from, and by the end of it, they're dating. So that's hot. So now, let's put ourselves in Britney's shoes. Let's put ourselves in '99 going to 2000. She's already being hailed as the Princess of Pop. Madonna herself, the Queen of Pop, is already claiming that she's obsessed with her. Is seen wearing her shirts.
What mother says goes. Exactly. So that's Madonna.
She's dating, you know, the teen heartthrob at the time.
What a time.
She's like on top of her game right now, and the game hasn't even fucking begun yet, which is crazy. She's just begun.
Too many.
So, with that being said, we go into chapter 10, which I want to start off with a really important quote.
Yep.
Are you ready?
No. Go ahead.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready now.
Are you ready? Okay.
Are you?
Sorry.
You bringing me Madonna like it works.
Anyway,
I'm sorry. Go into the quote. My bad.
No. More Britney references. Please, people feel at home here.
Right.
I do, at least. So, another place somebody felt at home was Justin on the streets of New York City talking to Genuine, where he says, I quote, "Oh yeah, faux shiz, Genuine. What's up, homie? Ew.
But I could see it.
It did not surprise me. So much so where like,
ramen hair.
You know what I wanted to see? I wanted to see Felicia making fun of him. Because right after that moment, Felicia makes fun of him, Britney and her are laughing, and Justin is just like, girl, what? Which I'm just like,
so good.
Get him again. Get
her, Jade.
But yeah, Faux Shiz has kind of become like a moment, I would say. His most momenting moment in a minute, and hopefully his last. So,
his last, please. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, chapter 10.
Yeah. Chapter 10 is when, she really gets, oh god, there's like so much in here that I'm like, oh my god, I'm just like,
chapter 10 is long. Chapter 10 is one of the like heftier chapters in length.
But she runs into Mariah, like,
I think one of the highlights of the book.
Really?
It's so sweet.
Yeah.
She talks about how much she loves going to award shows.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the only things she looks forward to in the industry, like, not even just her performing.
Yeah.
She mentions that she won an award that night, but she doesn't think about that. She thinks about her meeting Mariah, where Mariah says, and I quote,
"Could you imagine?
No, come stand here, darling. This is my
side. I love that.
I want you to stand here so I can get my good side, girl." Where she keeps repeating in her warm, raspy voice, "My good side, girl." To be
Mariah.
somebody in that room watching this mother's stomach go down, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
And that picture is great.
Icon.
And I love the moment that she details. She says,
Mariah.
Literally.
I will.
And
Mariah. She knows what's up.
Mm-hmm.
She always knows what's up.
And Britney does too, because she's like, I will always refer to her as Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
that's my mama.
Yeah.
And that's also my mama.
Right. We love having like 70 moms. We love having 70 moms. So many moms.
8 kids and counting. Fuck the kids. It's all about the moms.
Yeah,
18 moms and counting.
18 moms and counting, please, because we have that many. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and she mentions that she's like, constantly going. She's constantly running into Madonna at first, which is like, I think in a few chapters, she kind of goes a lot more into her relationship with her, and I think that that's like a great thing. Not just as a fan of her, but like she touches on it.
Yeah.
She got a lot of wisdom. And a lot of support from Madonna.
Yeah. Kind of becomes like a mother figure.
Right.
Which even Madonna brings up.
Yeah. And so it's great. And I am happy that was able to happen how it was, and it continues out. Yeah. So it's good.
Yeah.
I love
and
it.
Madonna's your mother too.
Madonna's my mother. I cannot lie.
Which, what else about chapter 10 stood out to you?
Well, I mean, she ends it by, of course, she's on the tour for Oops, and she's like, and I just wanna, she's like, she goes back to the, and I want to be able to build a house for my mom, and I want to settle my dad's debts, and I want to give them a quote clean slate, and it goes back to that thing. It goes back to the thing you and I had talked about earlier. It's that trying to reach for the impossible. Trying to get her family to some sense of, safety and comfort and a sense of normalcy. That, of course, she then tries for, and that they.
She's too good.
Right.
She's too fucking good of a person. I hate them so much.
She is not too good. They are not good enough.
Thank you.
Sorry, yes.
Thank
Let us flip the script because she is exactly who she's supposed to be. They are the ones who are with issues.
Beautifully said. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Beautifully said, and I agree. I'm gonna highlight, I think, the most important part about this chapter, which is in my opinion, her best VMA performance occurs. And it's down the stairs. Yeah, Britney!
Come on.
Rips off.
Right.
Chills in my asshole thinking about it.
Yeah. That one is your fave. Your top fave. Yeah. Okay.
The chills on my arm.
Right.
Each and every
Look at the evidence. It's right there.
Says choreo and everything down to
it is iconic. Yes, it is iconic.
Because it's like, yes, there's the other ones, but it's like, it's like we want to talk about moments where you see the fire in your eyes. I'm not that circle to the ground.
Yes. I can see it. I can see it all. Yeah.
Chills. I need to play that after this. That makes.
Oh, we will.
Oh yes, we will.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got like so electrified because I haven't thought about that performance in a
great
minute.
cover.
Right. That's
not even a cover of this
her song.
Not even
exactly.
I know.
And the dance break that she does in the oops, the do she does the kick and everything.
The kick is
a moment.
That kick is going to be in history books. I promise.
That
my history books that I'm going to write for the future generations.
Exactly.
The pop culture encyclopedia will be including the kick.
The kick included. And with that performance happening, then comes her first, which she knows her first real taste of not Rolling Stone, hot controversy, hot gossip. This is Backlash. Like people are like, once again, we're 2000. We're not watching TV in high quality, baby.
Yeah.
When that pantsuit came off of her, you didn't see the nude mesh. People thought this bitch was naked. Just like, even when the fucking Toxic video came out. I mean, granted, Toxic, she was naked. Those are jewels placed on her. It wasn't a bodysuit. But people thought this bitch was naked on the VMA stage, twirling at speeds that she was twirling at.
Yeah.
So it was, I remember to this day, like, just being like, seeing the shift of like, oh, hold on now, like, I have to get defensive for my mama now. Like,
yeah, you do.
That, so much so, and I still will, because that's my mom. But, so much so where, pretty much like her parents in television, MTV I'm talking about, had a sit-down special with her that was like a part of TRL, I believe. And I'm fucking glad she mentions this in the book. And it goes over people's thoughts of her. Like, MTV went around, a bunch of producers went around New York City asking people what they thought about her performances. A lot of them were shitting on her. A few were like, she looks great, go girl, do what you want. Fuck them kids, you don't need to be their parents. And she would watch their reactions.
That's a
crazy thing to think about this day.
Why the hell would they do that? But she handled it very well. And she threw it back on them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, that isn't my job. Nice
so
try.
Fucking happy.
Yeah. She said, nice try trying to get me to be that one for you, but you need to be that for your own children.
Check the station, change the channel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Next chapter. Right.
That's
a little later. But yeah.
But and this is like the beginning of that point where it's like, she's not these girls' favorite singers. She's now deemed by the public to be their role model, their parent.
Yeah. And she's got to hold that, and has to find ways to not, she has to find a way to continue to reject that, because it's not going to serve her in any way, because it also really, like, it just comes down to people wanting to control her in some way, so it's her having to push against that.
Which is crazy, and I am so glad that she had that moment where she was just like, well, it's not like my job. I'm not those parents. If you don't like what's on the TV, then change the channel. Like, I love that she said that, and it's just like, this is the beginning of adults, specifically adult men's love and lust. Most importantly for her.
Interesting.
But
word choice.
Vile hate towards her. I think about like Alice Cooper and like his whole like fucking obsession, yet hate for her and what she represented and everything. So this is like, I think like this is more, I don't say it's more important of a turn of the book, but like, we are just about to get into
right.
You thought it was gonna start with Justin and the breakup? No, baby, it's beginning now.
Things are already coming.
Yeah. Yet at the same time, like, she's at the biggest of her career right now. On top of the fucking world.
In so many ways. She's on the moon. Or no, I'm sorry. She's on Mars.
But I thought her dropped
in
in the ocean
in the end.
Well,
maybe.
Oh, went down. Oh, you shouldn't have.
Oops. Bam. That video too, maybe.
Mother. So, with that being said,
but yes.
At this point in your book, I know you and I have read this like 60 times. I know we've read it about 60 times. And what stands out in you? What stands out to you so far in this chapter?
So far, I would just say like how in awe I am of her ability to comprehend what is coming at her, knowing how to kind of, quickly process it and, and have it continue to help to drive her choices going forward. I am just in awe of how quickly she was able to adapt into the world that came onto her.
Yeah.
And I think, of course, you know, it is not sustainable, which you see in, you know, you know, you see it in so many pop stars who, you know, who are so on top of everything who are so on top of everything at the beginning of their careers, because, you know, they have a sense of kind of, they have a sense of kind of the things that could be coming.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to sustain. But I am in awe just of how quickly and how at such a young age she was able to kind of take it head on.
Yeah.
And I just so really applaud her. And I simultaneously, I wish that she didn't have to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel a little sad. But that's my biggest takeaway going this far into the book. Yeah. Biggest takeaway. How about you, my darling?
I think it's the same thing, and to add to that, it, once again, even though we've lived her peak with her, you know what I mean? Not there in person and from her perspective, but we were the millions of fans watching the VMAs as she was performing and her career is changing in front of our eyes. We witnessed it. So thankful. But with that being said, kind of going detail by detail, era by era, year by year, really puts you in the shoes of like how shit was for her. And to go to your point too of how here she is, to knowing all these changes that are going around her at such a quick pace, I think I forget, I'm like, oh shit, not to be that, you know, person now, 2023, but it's like, oh my god, like she also didn't have social media on her.
Yeah.
She, like how it feels like it's like she had no resources at this time, you know, whereas now pop stars, like they could kind of be aware of what's going around and what's being said, because it's like they, you know, they have this to keep them connected, whereas, you know, people are only speaking to her through people, through representatives. She's speaking out through representatives, stuff like that. Like there's a wall, but at the same time the wall isn't protecting her from anything coming her way. The wall is just protecting her from life itself.
Interesting.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, not to make like a Cinderella reference here, but like she really is just kind of like, yes, a princess. Yes, in a castle. But she's trapped in the castle already. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, you know, we see her still fighting for normalcy. You know, she's stressing. She's kind of, you know, struggling mentally. She gets on Prozac, she mentions in this chapter. And you would think with, you know, somebody with all that fame and all that money, she still isn't happy. Wouldn't that make a cool song?
Oh, wait. Quick side note.
Go for it.
Wait. You and I may have talked about this in the past, but who is that in that?
I don't know.
Because I was talking about it, and my boyfriend, he was like, oh, I thought that was Justin Timberlake the entire time.
No.
But I don't think it is. He was convinced. And I was like, I tried to find out.
It sounds more like
says her friend. Everywhere that I looked online, it says her friend. Since her, has a voice tone. But I would love, if somebody knows who it is, I would love to know. Anyway.
Yeah,
that's all.
Good point.
Sorry.
No, beautiful point. And like,
because
I
if it wasn't
that
I
as
would
well.
be like, oh man, I didn't know. But like, yeah, we don't know who that is.
Yeah. But
one
day we'll find out. Yeah, like what Liam said. If y'all know, please comment.
Please.
But
let us know.
Yeah, I would just say same thing. Like she's like just moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Things are really turning, and but at the same time, she's a pop star that's expected to be perfect in every single way.
Yeah.
I guess that's just kind of my takeaway. Is just like I now more closely know how she feels going through all of this, which like we call her peak.
Yeah.
Which career-wise, sure, but it's like define that and define how important career means in your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She's
So
handled it so well.
This whole time.
Yeah,
this whole time she really has.
She's, She's great. I love Britney.
Same.
I love Britney Spears.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time for this first iteration of your visit because we're going to be here more.
Yeah. And we've done the damn thing so far.
We have.
We've been so good. We have done and talked about so much. It's been great.
We have.
It's been so much fun.
I want to ask you, since
yes,
I'll
make it quick.
Timeline, we're
yep.
Oops era now at this point.
Yep.
Like middle Oops era. What's your Oops song of this week?
Oh my god, my favorite Oops song.
If you had to pick
for the week
only.
For the week, I am going. Oh god, this is so mean. I'm going to. For the week, not for any particular reason, but I just love What You See Is What You Get.
Taste. Cowboy hat
pole. No. I would like to shout out that song because I was listening to my mix of my set that I did a couple of weeks ago,
plug it real quick, yeah.
and I think I had a moment where I tried to bring that song in, and I didn't come back to it, and so I am hearing it, and I'm like, I should have played that song. So I'm giving What You See Is What You Get. How about you?
Dear Diary.
Yeah.
Solely because
yeah,
the ending of that song I think is one of like my favorite Britney vocal moments ever.
Yeah.
What was it? Why am I forgetting it now? It's the fucking.
Yeah. Sing Ziva.
Oh my gosh, why am I losing it? Oh, it's I got a feeling we'll be so much more than friends. Just stunning.
She's so good.
Britney Houston, Spears, Dion, Franklin, Dupree was in the motherfucking studio that goddamn day. With that being said, that's my fucking mama.
Yes,
always and forever, bitch.
Always and forever. We love you, Britney.
Liam, my sister.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. I'll give you a full.
Thank you, Gina.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
Thank you for coming on.
It was so fun.
Let everybody know where to find you real quick.
Liam.m4a on Instagram. That's like really the spot.
Period. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.
People can take everything away from you, but they can never take away your truth. But the question is, can you handle it? Can you handle my truth? Can you? I don't know. Can you handle hers? And his? We shall see.